that hate speech and violence are threats to peaceful 2023 elections. I'll be hanging out with Gani, Kaide Balogun, and Mojit Jamiu. If you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us relentlessly. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, continues to wage war against traffickers and parents. 10 days after it declared Lagos socialite Alhaji Ademola Afolabi Kazeem, also known as Abdullahi Kazeem Mahmood Mohammed, wanted, NDLEA operative have arrested the fleeing suspect over alleged extortion and trafficking of illicit drugs, as well as money laundering. This followed his failure to honor NDLEA invitations in an order granted by a federal high court in Lagos. The wanted drug kingpin was uncovered as sponsor of some traffickers arrested by anti-narcotics agencies in the recent attempt to export cocaine to Dubai and other destinations outside Nigeria. This war against drugs is gathering momentum in Nigeria, and it seems NDLEA is doing a kind of yeoman's job.
Yeah, I think we must give kudos to Brigadier General Abuba Marwa for doing a fantastic job. And if you read the story behind all these latest arrests, you will see a connect with the former Super Cop, Abakari. Since he has been arrested, I mean, you will see that there is a nexus. And most of these characters that are being arrested now have one or two links to him. Now, when you, this latest arrest, the owner of that popular Adekas hotel, Ademola Afolabi Kazeem, I mean, imported 9.8 billion naira worth of tramadol into the country. And that's about 13.8 million pills or tablets of tramadol. So apart from the effect this would have on the youth, I mean, you can imagine what these characters do with drug money. They invest it in property, in hotel business, and also in the auto business. One of them, who is also in this ring, the chairman of Auto Nation, his name is Chris Emeka. That one was arrested in a VGC in around October. With almost, I mean, that one actually has a cook that cooks methamphetamine and converts it to nkurumeri for him, and it sends to the east. And so it is they were offering the operatives of the NDLEA huge sums of money, up to 200 million, to let them go. And this is what they've been doing before. So they have a network. I mean, AY, these items were imported into the country. It came via containers. Now, they have their hub. They have a warehouse in Ikorodu. They have one in VGC. So these agents in the in the NDLEA, they have all this information. But before now, they were taking money. They were covering up. But I think with Marwa, I think we should give him, in fact, a round of applause for not only exposing these guys, but actually diminishing the amount, I mean, the volume of these dangerous drugs that is entering into our system. Look at the seizure in Ikorodu, the highest in Africa. about 230 billion naira worth of drugs seized in Ikorodu.
Is that bad?
So, GKB, if the consumption is not high, it won't be lucrative. That means we have a problem with consumption.
Yeah, and that happened in the last.
There's a market. There's a big market.
Yeah, and the market was created by these barons themselves, just like they do all over the world. 20 years ago, Nigeria was basically a transit point where drugs will come in and go out to the far east. Well, in the last 10, 20 years, they've created a local market by taking these children, especially from the north and then certain parts of the southwest, and injing them on these drugs. And that means that somebody who is an addict at the age of 12 or 13 is hung on that drug for life. And if they don't see the drug, they become restless and they become criminals. So these people are creating a system, a network, to ensure that our future will not come. Because if our young ones have to rely on drugs to even function normally, imagine the level of things they can do when they have access to these drugs. And I want to commend NDLEA not only because they have a chairman that is working, but that the fact that they are trying their very best in a way to ensure that the cooperation that we expect from ICPC, NDLEA, Customs, Immigration, and the FCC, that don't seem to be forthcoming, at least in the general sense. They are taking it upon themselves to do this battle. Because if they don't do that, imagine what will have happened to Abba, who is obviously a very big pillar in that network. And since his arrest, they've been able to break not only about 13 rings, but around 27 rings of these people, cells of these barons, what they do. Because don't forget, to bring it in, you must have somebody in customs.
Yeah.
You must have somebody in the central bank. You must have somebody in immigration. And you must have somebody with enough loading capacity to take this drug away from the customs. Because if you are bringing it inside that particular tank, whatever they bring it in. Containers. You are talking about 30, 40, 50 containers cleared under the period of 2 weeks. So while Marwa and his boys are doing a fantastic job, there's a need for them to create a synergy. Imagine everybody working together. This thing will go away in less than 5 years.
And what do we have left when you see that they've infiltrated the system and so many of our youths, they are hooked on these drugs? And we don't have enough rehabilitation centers across the country.
If Jide were to be here, Biko himself, he won't like what I want to say, but I'll still say it. It's like the way Arteta has built his midfield and his team to be conquering clubs in England now. That gives him that's the way Buba Marwa has built his NDLEA
in his own image
to be conquering all these dog barons. Now I heard that one of them, whose 20 billion was confiscated.
20 billion.
20 billion, yes.
You can see the war chests.
In 103 bank accounts. He was offering up to 1.5 billion naira.
As bribe.
As bribe. So it's like the birds are coming home to roost. And that's why it's not just Marwa alone, but also his guys.
Somebody like that, with that kind of money, you feel that you can go away with anything.
Yeah, because
you want to buy the system, you want to bribe, you want to...
How much was Abba offering the other time? $50,000 was offering the guys who went to do that that operation on him, and that sting operation was offering them $50,000 allegedly. So, but these are characters who are offering 1.5 billion to let them go. But I think the men and officers of the NEA, I mean, they are looking at the future.
The bigger picture.
The bigger picture. And that's why I give you, you can see the Ikorodu seizure. That's what you are seeing on your screen, September 19.
It's not in a forest, too. It's in an urban area.
In an urban area in Ikorodu. The Adeka's own was right there in BGC.
Right in the middle of the street.
Now they have, for that, the chairman of Auto Nation Motors, allegedly, Chris Emeka, they will hide under one foreign business, whether hotel or property. Now they were using some BRT drivers as couriers. Now, also, the chemical analyst, the chemical analyst who converts crystal methamphetamine to meth, to Mpurumiri for them, is a student of industrial chemistry. When I read about it, one of them took it in Trafalgar Square, and that fountain at that water fountain at the guy jumped into it, and he was saying he was feeling too hot in England. The other time, one parked his vehicle in Germany. So it's the effect that this thing has on our youth is devastating. And to think that somebody will profit from this kind of bad business is unthinkable.
One day is profits.
Okay.
I mean, it's just unthinkable.
Once there's profit,
Nigerians will do. Once again, I give kudos to the NDLEA,
to the Marwa,
because this thing left our ports and found its way to Ikorodu and VGC.
And that's the one we know as of now.
And several other places.
All right, moving on now. The impact of the mass abduction of passengers of the Abuja-Kaduna train in March still looms large in the system. The Nigerian Railway Corporation has denied rumor in some media that the rail service will resume on the routes on the 24th of November. The managing director of the corporation, Fidet Okiria, said the news is false and should be disregarded. He insisted that no deadline, no definite dates has been fixed for resumption of rail service on the routes, but the federal government is making necessary efforts to reopen before the end of November. GKB.
Well, two things.
Is it not after the abduction and everything, and they couldn't continue with this route, and that route was quite effective, lucrative, and do you think the federal government do you think they are re-strategizing?
They have no
to
choice.
Do something about the security of that route to be very sure.
But what they need to put in place, I don't think they've done it yet, because you must be able to secure that line from Kaduna to Abuja and vice versa every time there's a trip. And that will require a lot of resources, including helicopter, including maybe gunships or gunboats, just to give people the confidence. Yeah, because you have to do that. You have to fly over the rail as it's going. But that's the only way for people like me to enter that train. Or else nobody will patronize that train.
You need like a show of force.
You must
helicopter, gun trucks, and everything.
It could be a drone, it could be a gunship, or it could be anything they want. As long as people are aware that if anything should happen, they will be protected. Or nobody in his right senses will take that train. And the federal government is aware of this. I think what they are going to do, because I doubt whether this news does not emanate from them. But I think what I'm saying is what people are also telling them. That look, you cannot resume this particular operation until A, B, C, D are put in place.
But already you have people moving through Abuja-Kaduna Express Road, as in that's the alternative you have to rail.
A coach on a railway carries 80 people. Imagine 10 coaches joined together. They are talking about 800 people. If anything should happen to that, it's not somebody taking you away from your car or 40 people from their bus. They are talking about moving 400 people on a bad day. They go down, let it happen again. That's the point we are making. For federal government to open this route, to open this particular route, two things must be done. They must show us, defending whoever is on the train, and this will require constant and consistent of whatever they are doing to ensure this happens.
Angie, do you think this is prudent enough, as in that any trip we have, people must be assured by the show of force and helicopters and everything? Do you think, can we sustain this?
Precisely. That's what
no, I think beyond that, governments, beyond just mounting it must assure Nigerians that whenever the train service, that lucrative Abuja-Kaduna train service resumes, there is adequate back-end security. We don't really have to have helicopters flying and stuff like that, but a lot of things they can put in place.
Maybe within the train to repel any kind of attack.
Yes. I mean, you can have, checking the people who enter the train, because those who attacked the train, train on March 28th were actually, part of them were passengers. So they only had, it was planned to, so some of the other accomplices.
As the security must be tighter to look like the,
for people,
like as if you want
like
to
the way
board
you are boarding the plane. Because so that it's reduced. So if they don't have some of them,
reduce the number of racketeering train stations. Now you should be able to determine the number of people.
Do you know that? I don't know what informed that decision. You cannot, of course, GKB, you apply that. You can't do electronic transfer. You have to pay cash.
You have to pay cash.
Where?
To enter those trains, anywhere. Both the one, especially the one from Lagos to Ibadan.
That means they're not ready for business.
You must pay cash. They have refused to go digital. And you can't buy it online. Because some characters there are there racketeering. They will create artificial scarcity.
Sell tickets
for business
the higher price.
For 6,000, they will hold it and now tell you, oh boy, come on, there's somebody who says it's not going. They will take 10,000 from you.
Okay, so, I have MJ Ali calling from Abuja.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Go ahead, please.
I want to appreciate you guys on most of the discussions on the events happening in our country, especially as it concerns the insecurity and the railway line you guys are talking about now. From the discussion, I can understand that we are talking about securing the railway line, and looking at it, I think it's too costly for Nigerian government to be securing the railway line. My opinion is to change strategy to ensure that every part of Nigeria is secured. And in doing that, it will be less cost effective if our security apparatus will take this fight to these guys in the forest, destroy them, eliminate them, instead of saying you are securing only railway line with God's ship and the rest. Imagine the cost. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, he just nailed the matter on the head. He just hit the nail on the head. See, we can't just say we want to secure the tracks alone. We need to deepen our strategy. That's just it. We need to deepen our security strategy. I mean, these guys are no more than us. I mean, they are just a ragtag army. They strike once they finish spending the money they have collected, they look for another opportunity to strike. So now I know that before the elections, they will want to cause some shock to the system again. So I expect that our security agencies will be ready. Just like the travel advisory from the UK and the US. I mean, rather than dismiss it, we should look inwards. Although I know that could be a bit outrageous at times, because recently the US, the UK issued a travel advisory against US, while US also issued a counter-travel advisory against us. So, I mean, it's like all these travel advisories are now becoming like
political.
Very political and comical. So, but for us, I think the former minister, Rotimi, she said he has received several proposals before he left office for those who want to manage the security architecture along that route to ensure that we don't have this kind of thing occurring again. But I think whatever the NRC wants to do, they should do it early enough, because that system, I mean, that route has been out of business since March. Yeah. I mean, how many months ago?
It's not good for business.
I mean we took a loan.
A lot of people don't go to Abuja again.
A Chinese loan to put that facility in place. And
We must pay back.
800 people to and fro, I think like they make 2 or 2 trips in a day. You can imagine the number of people who would go, I mean, to the alternative. I mean,
and before now, people were looking at it as the most comfortable, safest, and decent. And you know, if you don't stress yourself by going by road, or you want to drive, and you have the VIPs, you know, patronizing this. I don't know how comfortable.
Even army generals, I've met them on the Lagos-Ibadan train many times. They will be dropped at Agege and they will join us. Another person will be waiting for them to pick them in Ibadan. No, like Moji said, we must look at it holistically because 2 levels. On the short term, what do we do to return the train to work? We are not going to eliminate everybody under 2 months.
Ade is calling us from London.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes.
My greeting to all the panelists there.
Go ahead.
Yesterday on TVC, you told us that the IG complained that the ladies of those ladies they kidnapped, they are going back to their husband in the forest, some of them.
Yes, yes.
Okay. If that is the truth, if the government is serious, they know where they are then. Because those ladies going back are intelligent already. But they don't want to kill them. They don't want to kill them. They are just pretending for us. So all this is the game. When new government take over in May ending next year, you will see the secret will be leaked out. If you observe those, when they arrest some people in Kogi about the killings in Owo, the chief of army.
Thank you for your contribution, Ade. So we have to add this. We need this the railway system, rail system. Sorry, we need it as part of our transport system to enhance the pressure on our roads and everything. You know, so that means engineer Fidet Okiya should just tell Nigerians, you know, when they are going to put all these arrangements in place, and you know that's Abuja-Kaduna.
If it needs help in terms of funding for the infrastructure and for the security architecture, it should approach the National Assembly. I'm sure they will approve.
Through the Minister of Transport.
Yeah, through the Minister of Transport, because that is a very key, sensitive and lucrative route.
It's a major pillar of our transport.
Yes. Yeah. So we can't just leave it. We can't just leave it abandoned because of those bandits.
No, we can't. We can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't show that we are serious. All right. We'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Anger. We'll be right back after this time out.
You and your hair go through a lot. The heat, rain, chaos. It's a non-stop war against total breakdown. But just like you, your hair can stay strong no matter what. Mega Growth Break-Free Daily Leave-In Strengthener for all hair types is infused with a unique blend of natural oils and conditioning proteins that helps protect your hair. Mega Growth Break-Free, your daily defense against breakage.
President Muhammadu Buhari administration also assented to a very important legislation which has defied several administrations before 2015. And that is the anti-piracy bill, which was a big relief to the maritime community all over the world and other stakeholders, especially in the Gulf of Guinea and the West and Central Africa maritime region. The legislation is aimed at preventing and suppressing piracy, armed robbery, and any other unlawful act against a ship, aircraft, and any other maritime craft, including fixed and floating platforms. The act, otherwise known as the SPOMO Act, has opened the doorway for the administration of justice for piracy and other maritime offenses in the country.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Good afternoon, sir. Please, I need a room to rent in your house.
Okay, where do you work?
I'm a nurse.
That means you won't owe me rent. Congratulations, young lady. you have yourself a house.
Well, thank you so much, sir. So, how much is the rent?
90,000 naira. Oh, but wait, where are you from?
I am from Akamata.
Akamata what? Akamata in my house? If you know how you got into my house, please get out right away. My spirit and that of Akamata people don't have anything to do together.
Sir, what have I done?
Your people from Akamata are known for bad things. That is what they represent, and you can't live in my house. Just get out right away.
What's going on?
Leave my house, young lady. Yes, our differences extend to our languages, culture, food, and even belief. But we are bound together by the cord of love. With one heart, with one voice, we will make Nigeria a hub of greatness, a place where the people live as one.
This message is brought to you from the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government.
Thank you for staying with us. It appears that bandits are becoming more mean and nasty in the deals. Now, in a very old, cold fashion, bandits have demanded 10 million naira as ransom before they release the corpse of one of their victims, Obadiah Ibrahim, who they kidnapped in early October in Sabon Gaya on his way to Kaduna State from Abuja. The brother to the victim, Kefas Obadiah, said the bandits had collected 3 million naira but still refused to release the corpse. He stated that the kidnappers swore that if the family brings the money, they will release the corpse in 3 days. This is very, 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 very pathetic.
What you call double jeopardy. I don't know how some people could be so humane. They started from 200 million ransom, and they negotiated down to 15, and at the point, they now agreed for 3 million. Now, while negotiating to the appointed negotiator, it took some time, I think about a week or two. Now, when they took the 3 million to these characters, they collected the money on a Monday. And now they sent a message back on Thursday that 3 million was for feeding. And that now announced on Thursday that their brother, their family member, they kidnapped, actually died. They should come and pay a balance. I mean, now, as at Thursday last week, the guy was 4 days dead. It's not as if they have a mortuary. And you can imagine what will be happening to that corpse. Today makes 8 days that the guy has died in the bush there. So, I don't want to imagine. And these are human beings still demanding for 10 million naira because before they can release a corpse that by now probably is already decaying. Because I don't know, I mean, I doubt if they will take him to a mortuary in the forest. But you can see the kind of human beings we are dealing with. So it should be more severe sanctions or penalties for these ungodly people. Now, this is happening in Kaduna. Before Lagos-Ibadan expressway goes out of hand, the governors in the southwest should please do something quick, because we have had 2 terrible incidents now on Lagos-Ibadan expressway.
That we know of.
Yeah, that we know, of course, that we know of. That UI professor.
Reported cases.
Yeah, 2 reported cases. So we've been kidnapping is something that is so heinous. And I want to call on the local hunters, the vigilantes, the Amotekun, the Lagos State Neighborhood Watch, to please come in and step in, especially on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, before it becomes another Abuja-Kaduna. This guy that we're talking about was kidnapped on Lagos, on Abuja-Kaduna expressway at Gaya, precisely. Imagine somebody died, and you are still asking for money to release the corpse, saying the 3 million was for feeding.
And the corpse will have decomposed.
It's 8 days. It's in the bush there.
They seem to have enough space to operate. They seem to have enough confidence. They are not rattled. It's not as if we have helicopters hovering around their area. It's not as if their base is being threatened. That's why they can make extra demand. They can afford to hold on to the cops.
Because we believe that they are riffraffs. But we know from intelligence that some of the brains behind these operations are well-educated fellows, graduates, young, vibrant graduates who are now taking over the planning of these things. And before you move, they already have the intel that you are coming. That's how good they are. Of course, don't let me mention the firepower that they possess. On the Lagos-Ibadan expressway, normally Lagos-Ibadan is 100 kilometers, out of which about 60% are urbanized, 40% are rural. So the rural part of Lagos-Ibadan is basically in Ogun State. And most people don't even realize that most of Lagos-Ibadan expressway are in Ogun State. What is left for your state is less than 30 kilometers, out of the 108 from Isheri. And the majority, the Ogumakin, the Onigari area, are all in Ogun State. So while we are calling on the Southwest governors, let us lay emphasis on the governor of Ogun State to do the needful. Because, like I said there last week, the way Yorubas are migrating, in 10 years, majority of Yoruba people will be living in Lagos and Ogun states. And if we should lose this battle, that means we will escalate that particular movement. That people don't go beyond Ibadan anymore. They just stay put in Lagos or Ibadan, and simply not go anywhere else. That will affect farming, affect families, affect our old people. So let's call on the governors to do the needful. As far as the corpse is concerned, I know this may sound inhumane, but I think the family should just do prayer for the dead body and move on. Because nothing they will get in that place that will resemble even anything of their brother.
Some people will prefer closure because of, you have to get the corpse, and some people so much believe in that you have to know at least to go and bury so that you mourn your dead and everything.
Yeah, it's no. I understand what JKB is saying. Maybe I would say, we have so much attachment to tradition and culture in this part of the world. But Yoruba will say, "Ọmọ ẹni kú ó sàn ju ọmọ ẹni lọ lọ." As in, it's better you know that this person is dead. Yes, now we have accepted that he is dead, but let's have the corpse so that we give him a befitting burial. Now, then there's this traditional belief that, until you bury somebody properly, the spirit will be roaming. I don't know how far that is true. But it's unimaginable, it's unthinkable that some people with human blood flowing in them would see somebody who has died and you still want to collect ransom after you have taken something. It's not as if they are not giving you money. They're not saying the 3 million is for feeding. What was he eating?
And you have situation where these bandits, they even kill, they kill the person immediately. They give the impression that the person is still alive, collect the ransom
and take off. Yeah. I will not say, go and pick your corpse somewhere. It has happened.
Many times.
Before. Yeah, many times. So these are people that should not be spared anytime they are caught. And I think people have been saying we should have special courts for cases of kidnapping so that the thing will not even take time. Yeah, honestly. Because until we are having serious scapegoats, serious deterrents, there are people will continue to see it as a lucrative business. But by the time they start giving them that death penalty, then they will know it's high time they stopped. Honestly, because it's unthinkable. Anytime I think about this thing, I have goose pimples.
Where are we? War against banditry. These guys, that federal government, their effort want to know what they've done so far, because to go all out against to even wipe out these bandits?
Well, we've had some successes in the last few months. I'm sure you're aware that especially in the northwest area. And we said on this program that chances are these people will migrate south. Remember there was a time that the epicenter was Niger State. Now we are expecting them to migrate south. And the people of southern Nigeria must now get ready to do whatever they can to repel them. So not only the federal government, even the state governments, right now is not the time to split hairs or to talk about constitution. This is the time to protect your people, whichever way you can.
I have Ayodele from Ikorodu.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Can I talk? Can I?
Go ahead, please.
Yes, I want my greeting to all of you there.
Thank you.
Yes, you see, until we are able to solve the problem of our security outfit and the judiciary, there's problem there. That is where we are into this. We are still on this. We are still on this security problem. They are the people that are not doing their job. They are not doing their job perfectly. But they connive with these people just to get money, to extort money from people.
Thank you, Ayodele. I think Nigerians should look out from these leading candidates, and they should look out and ask for what they are going to do concretely in terms of security, because it will be a major talking point. Our country must first of all be safe before we talk about economic development. MJ.
The present government had a 3-point agenda: security, infrastructure, and I think employment.
Economy and corruption.
We are not winning the battle on security. That's a fact.
Not even close.
So, we are not winning the battle on security. So, beyond mounting any candidate can promise anything. Like Obi does not have a manifesto. So you can't even hold him that this is what you have written down black and white. And for Ashiwaju, the APC candidates, we have seen his manifesto. We have seen that of Atiku. They can say it, but can we hold them to it?
Accountable.
That is it.
After 100 days.
After 100
or
days.
After one year. What will be the timeline?
I see a situation where I don't believe any longer in manifestos and promises, and electoral promises. Because oftentimes you cannot hold our leaders accountable on their promises. So we are in dire straits.
Yeah, the third point was restructuring.
Restructuring.
Infrastructure, security, and restructuring.
So, we have not restructured our infrastructure. We are still we are still between 3,000 and 5,000 megawatts, because without your infrastructure borders on power. Our road networks, Lagos Ibadan is approaching about 95% now. With that crushing end at the Kara, and you need, if you are lucky, you spend 2 hours there. Although Minister Fashola has promised that by December the burden will be over, but before then, I think they need to speed up work. So, beyond manifestos, I think we need somebody who has that capacity to gather as many eggheads together as possible to be able to deliver. We need experts who can come around, even beyond party lines. We need to rescue this country.
All right. As the 2023 general election draws near, Nigerians expect nothing but credible conduct of the polls. But the Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, has warned that hate speech, insults, and threats of violence by some politicians are threats to peaceful conduct of the elections. According to a statement signed by the Secretary General of the Forum, Murtala Aliyu, the ACF warned that if such acts are left unchecked, it could lead to widespread violence.
Yeah,
I
it
think
could.
counting down to the election proper now.
Yeah.
What you see on the social media, what people write against another candidate, what parties, what they write against each other, and the rhetorics. And you know, when we were growing up, you hear of politicians talking about, you know, what they're going to do, programs and infrastructures, and
they talk about
develop and everything. And if they want to criticize, they criticize your programs. But right now, it's all about individuals. See this person, this is what you've done, this is what you've not done.
Well, it's unfortunate that we come to this story pass. And it's based on the fact that this is the downside of social media. Because like you said, 20 years ago, they are gatekeepers for newspapers and TV stations to ensure that hate speech does not filter through to
you can't just publish anything on substantiated.
But now everybody with a phone is a publisher. So they have access to whatever they can do. And I've been telling people that the best way is you have to take some people to court. You have to make examples. Because unless you start going to court to defend your honor, these people will continue. It's unfortunate. Because I'm speaking as a Yoruba man, I'm speaking as a Yoruba elder. There are things that you hear or read that you wonder whether this person had parents at all. Like I said, I'm talking from my own culture. That's my viewpoint. So I can't talk for other cultures. You read things like that, you wonder, does this person have a family? Does he have a father? Was he ever trained? Because there are certain things that are not allowed in Yoruba culture for you to do, on both sides. You don't abuse elders, you don't talk about deformities, all that. But now, it's an open season. And like they said, if you are not careful, you create a narrative that is not have no place in reality. And when that reality should come to pass, these people will now take up arms to fight a system that you and I know they can never win in the first place. But they've created a narrative that gives them the impression that they're going to win, that everything's going according to plan, that their candidate is going to be number one, is going to sweep 35 out of 36 states. But you and I know as analysts that that's not possible. After the result comes out and somebody else wins, how are we going to face the consequence? That's why party leaders must do something to rein in these people on all sides to ensure that we go back to basics, face the topics, face what is wrong with our country. Like you said, talk about security, talk about infrastructure, talk about the economy. Leave the person alone. Let's interrogate their commitments to Nigeria. That's where we should start, not by insults.
Okay.
I love what the ACF did, especially they even made reference to Governor Autumn of Benue State. And I think he went above the bar in that statement that he uttered against the candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, by saying to hell with Atiku. Although he has since apologized, but for a governor, a leader, to utter that statement, I think it falls short. And I think the Arewa Constitutional Forum made reference to that. And I think we should be careful. And also, I will also talk about the altercation between the spokesperson of the, or one of the spokespersons of the PDP, Senator Kaduna-Abuja, and the candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, during one of the town hall meetings. Yeah, Kaduna-Abuja, we all know him, talks a lot, but I expect that a presidential candidate should exercise some restraint by responding with that kind of outburst on national television. I think we should not heat up the system more than it's already heated up. Although this is a time for politicking, a lot of brickbats will be thrown, but the leaders who are aspiring to leaders, especially presidential candidates, should have that shock absorber to be able to take that. And I think they should borrow a leaf from Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who, by all means, probably, Yoruba says, Igi tó bá ní èso Only I mean, how come something that happened in 1992 that has been closed, they are bringing it up in 2022, 30 years. Somebody went to court to go and remind the U.S. authorities that this case that happened in 1992, you guys didn't investigate it well, and some TV stations are jumping at that.
On the bandwagon.
You see, the thing is, to me, they are making Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu more popular. And you can see that it's not even responding.
No, this is not even about a particular candidate.
Yeah.
What we are looking at here is
no, you see, I spoke about all the three political parties.
Yes,
and I even condemned Autumn for attacking Atiku, but so, I think we are just taking.
At any given time, campaign is not looking like the way campaigns should be.
No.
It's not looking like what is there on the table for me. If I vote for you, apart from offering money and everything, how will you better my life and everything? I can't talk about these manifestos. I can't talking about you can't readily remind Nigerians this is what this person is about. This is a progressive. This is a Democrats.
Well, this is a new territory for us. As you know, in Latin they say tabula rasa. That from this point onwards, we are responsible for actions. We have no antecedents to what is happening in this electoral cycle. No. Normally, you know UPN, you know MPN, you know PDP, you know whatever other party, you know what they stand for. But people have taken this particular cycle to a level of do or die. And that to me is dangerous. Because we are creating an army that is just like in the US, the Trump army. We are creating an army based on lies or things that you cannot deliver. And that to me is dangerous. Because, like I said earlier, imagine a situation where somebody said, Nigeria will go under if you don't vote for my candidates. He has only one vote. There are 91 registered voters. You have only one vote. Okay, let's say you can influence 10 others. That's really 90,999,000, something that you cannot influence. So you are creating an army dedicated to an improbability. And that's the danger I think ACF is trying to warn us about. And I think this is the best thing to do instead of other people doing their, whatever they call it, endorsement and all. This is what a regional group should do. List out the dangers, warn your people, let them be prepared for what is coming. Like I said, we are in tabula rasa territory. Nothing we are doing now has been done before in Nigeria. Nothing.
Anjay, another very dangerous dimension we've added is ethnicity and religion.
Yeah, there's no way we can ever take it out of our politics in Nigeria. No, we can't take it. Ethnicity and religion. I mean, ethnicity is even religion on its own. Even religion is politics. Yeah, so we should not deceive ourselves. But like I keep saying, I have been part of an electoral system. I've been there on election day.
At the highest level.
At the highest level and at the grassroots. And what happens on election day? At the polling units. I keep telling people, 40% of those who come to the polling units on election day in most of the rural areas in Nigeria, or in probably about 70% of the polling units, are undecided. They are waiting for who will come and convince them on election day with whatever you have, maybe bread or whatever, to vote on election
I have Benga from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Benga.
This is Benga. Greeting to your guest there.
Yes, go ahead, Benga.
Hate speech and fake news. You didn't put it there. Fake news is also a threat, not only hate speech, because fake news can cause a lot of havoc. It's a threat to our election. We saw in 2015 and 2019, and those who are doing it have not relented in whatever they are doing in all these things. And you not give them the beauty they desire. Like one of your guests said there, a tree that bears sweet fruit, bird, children, adults will be throwing stone at it to get of it. So Tinubu should not look at whatever that is happening. Those who went to the U.S. to collect a paper, send
all right.
Yeah.
So like as I was saying, those campaigning for candidates should focus on pushing the narratives that will favor their candidates, not bad-mouthing other candidates. Because you will be surprised that on election day, it's going to be a different ballgame. Article 1 said, he said, for those on social media, he said 90% of those who vote in the north, they are not listening to what you guys are saying on social media. And it's very correct. And I have a practical example in my local village in Ibemo Ekiti. On election day, you will see those artisans, they will come. They don't care. They just want to, but somebody will be asking, where is Awolowo's party in 2022? So, whatever you do on social media, boost yourself, call yourself names, they are not bothered.
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant to them. So I think we should dwell less on character assassination at times of electioneering and focus on the main issues. But that is not to say debates, town hall meetings, and all those campaigns
are not important.
They're not important, yeah.
So, moving forward now, we have a lot of work to do in terms of even getting the politicians, those are on the field, committed to this.
Yeah. Like I said, we are in uncharted territory because a lot of people are in this game for what they can get. The age of total convictions are gone. So what we need to do as journalists and media people is to keep reminding our people that ultimately, at the end of the day, this is about our people. It's not about them. It's about the farmer in the village, the fisherman in the creeks, and the hunters in the forests. Those are the ones that we are supposed to be looking out for, not for ourselves in the city, and not imposing our own needs and caprices onto Nigerian problems that are looking for solution. Like Moji said, let's talk about security. Nigeria has been cut into two. People are burning INEC offices all over the place. The INEC lost about 16,000 PVCs in Ogun just last week. Uncounted, the one in the east.
And in Ede.
So things are happening that politicians don't pay attention to, but are more focused on who went to the toilet and did not wipe his behind. That is more important to them than the elements that we need to worry about.
Moji Jami, I want to thank you for your contribution today.
Thank you.
GKB, thank you for your contribution. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. and join us every Sunday for Journalist Hangout on Sunday between 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubako. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Black Friday is here, and ShopX TV is proud to bring you a very special offer. We all know the benefits that come from eating a healthy, balanced diet, but sometimes that's not always easy. Until now. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the NutriBullet, the must-have kitchen item of the year. Here's how it works. First, add spinach for fiber, berries for antioxidants, and some banana for potassium. Add water, and watch how the NutriBullet completely breaks everything down. Even almond nuts, cashew nuts, and tiger nuts have been completely broken down. The NutriBullet is not a blender. It's not a juicer. It's an extractor, a crusher. It's a grinder with a 600-watt motor combined with bullet cyclonic action that forces everything into its extractor blades, breaking down, pulverizing, and crushing stems, seeds, and skins, and releasing all the essential nutrients trapped inside. Tired of using blenders that are difficult to use and produce poor results? Yuck! Watch this as we compare a normal blender with the NutriBullet. The normal blender struggles to get through to the finer ingredients where all the nutrients are stored. But watch the NutriBullets just absolutely crush everything you put in. Stems, seeds, skins, nothing is spared with its 600-watt motor blades and bullet cyclonic action. There's simply no contest. There's so much you can do with the NutriBullet. And there's always something for everyone in the family, no matter your age. Even the kids benefit from a healthier diet, so start them early. The NutriBullet